Inside a workshop, one small step near motion, and control starts to fade. A worker stands close to a running calendar machine. The rollers turn in steady sequence, creating a zone of constant movement energy. The area lacks clear guarding, and the quiet rotation conceals an ongoing mechanical hazard. As the worker moves closer, the roller's motion narrows the margin for safety. One small step brings the moving line within the zone of caution. The steady hum of rotation continues unchanged until it's clear that even calm machinery leaves no room for hesitation. Never ever stay close to operating rollers without isolation or fixed guarding. Rotating assemblies create active motion energy that must be fully secured before inspection or alignment. Inside the press bay, a pulse of pressure builds, then control slips away. Hydraulic presses run under precise force, driving molten metal through heavy dies. The workflow is smooth and stable. Gauges hold steady as operators monitor the system, unaware of the tension growing inside. Beneath the calm surface, energy quietly builds toward release. During a routine cycle, pressure in the hydraulic system rises beyond tolerance. A sudden rupture releases a fine mist of fluid into the heated press zone. The vapor meets heat, and in an instant, light fills the bay as the ignition races across the surface. Operators move back fast, the calm replaced by an urgent wave of motion. Hydraulic stability depends on precision. One fluctuation can release stored force without warning. Inside a warehouse humming with motion, one lift climbs too high, and control slips away. The warehouse floor moves in rhythm. Forklifts aligning pallets, workers coordinating from one end to the other. A loaded platform begins to rise, carrying both cargo and a worker positioned for quick adjustment. The operation looks stable until the elevation keeps increasing beyond the point of balance. As the lift extends past its safe height, the weight shifts backward. The platform tilts, sending the cargo sliding as the structure wobbles sharply before impact. The moment freezes operations, a sudden clear reminder of how quickly balance disappears once limits are crossed. Never, ever exceed an elevated platform's rated height or use it to lift both load and personnel together. Stability depends on respecting balance and design limits. Once those are crossed, control is lost. A calm street, a passing moment, and the structure above begins to shift from within. Midday light spills across a city sidewalk where a building stands under exterior maintenance. A ladder against the wall sits on a scaffold, a makeshift structure reaching into the pedestrian path, with tools and boards set for ongoing work. Traffic hums nearby as walkers pass close to the work zone, each step sharing space with an incomplete setup that blends construction and public access. During maintenance on the wall-side scaffold, the base begins to shift subtly on uneven ground. The slow movement alters the frame's alignment, transferring stress upward through the structure. The scene captures how an unbraced platform, even under light activity, can extend risk beyond the work zone in moments. Elevations demand design discipline. Never, ever exceed rated height or alter platform stability. Controlled motion keeps systems aligned with safety limits. On a quiet street, one step toward safety meets a hidden hazard. In a narrow neighborhood lane, food for a community feast cooks in large open vessels. Steam drifts upward as residents move freely between the pots and nearby houses. The air hums with routine until one individual, suddenly overcome by an epileptic disorientation, searches for something solid to lean on. Unaware of the heat surrounding him, he reaches toward one of the steaming vessels for support. The contact triggers an instant reaction as nearby people rush forward, pulling him away, while others shift the heavy pots aside. In seconds, the calm street turns into coordinated urgency, an uncontrolled health event colliding with an uncontrolled heat zone. Safety grows from identification, not assumption. Each discarded item carries potential energy. Inspection transforms unknown risks into controlled steps. At a city waste collection point, one discarded cylinder turns a normal pickup into a warning. It's a calm residential morning, and the sanitation crew works through their route. Bins lifted, compacted, and cleared in steady rhythm. The compactor hums as part of its cycle, managing the routine load. Hidden among the waste, an oxygen cylinder, improperly discarded and still under pressure, moves into the compaction zone. The operation continues, unaware of what lies within. Without warning, trapped pressure inside the cylinder builds as the compactor closes in. The shell gives way with a sharp release, sending a wave through the load and halting the truck mid-cycle. Dust and debris rise as the routine grinds to a stop, a powerful reminder of the risks hidden in discarded materials. Every open heat source demands distance. Never, ever place unprotected setups where people gather. Safe zones create space between work and hazard. Inside a warehouse, one lift climbs too far from its design. A worker prepares to reach an overhead rack using a personnel basket attached to a forklift. The floor space is calm, lighting steady, and movement around the area continues in rhythm. The setup appears routine, equipment positioned, basket secured, but each extension raises the system closer to its limit. As the forklift moves forward, the mast extends and the weight shifts higher than the chassis was ever designed to manage. The rear wheels start to lift slightly, straining against gravity. The machine tips beyond its balance range, and the basket drops abruptly as the system loses stability. A moment later, another worker rushes in from across the floor, responding to the sudden imbalance. Never ever use a forklift to raise personnel unless it's equipped with a certified, locked, and properly rated basket attachment. Forklifts are engineered for load lifting, not human elevation, without the full protection of restraint systems and balance locks. On a factory platform, one distracted step toward an empty lift shaft turned routine into danger. Inside a small industrial workspace, a lift shaft stood open, its platform lowered, leaving only a hollow gap between floors. The worker walked across the upper level, phone in hand, eyes on the screen, instead of the path ahead. Around him, the space felt familiar, safe, unchanged. Focused entirely on his phone, he stepped forward, assuming the lift was in place. The sudden emptiness caught his eye just in time. The open shaft yawned below, a stark reminder of how focus can vanish faster than footing. Distraction turned safe spaces into hazards. Stay alert around elevation points, and never ever approach an open shaft or lift area while using your phone. One careless glance away can erase the ground beneath you. At a construction pour zone, concrete flows fast, and the ground starts to shift. It's a busy morning on the foundation site. Workers guide the concrete hose, reinforcing grids and form panels, while heavy pour lines move across the frame. The pit is active, every move synchronized to keep pace with the continuous pour and steel alignment. As the pour continues, subtle movement ripples through the slab. The rebar mesh shifts under uneven pressure, and a faint vibration passes through the formwork. Workers near the edge notice the slight change in rhythm and pause, eyes drawn to the surface. Then, gradually, the reinforced section begins to settle unevenly, its balance faltering under the accumulating weight. The frame trembles, steel joints hum, and the sound of shifting concrete fills the pit. Never ever pour or reinforce concrete without verifying rebar anchoring and frame integrity. Pressure increases rapidly during pours. Only stable supports keep the system balanced. At a delivery dock, one shift imbalance, and the lift turns hazardous. A worker stands on a truck's hydraulic lift, guiding a heavy refrigerator down. The surface below is uneven, the load unsecured. The platform hums beneath the weight, forming a narrow zone where balance is limited. As the platform lowers, the refrigerator shifts forward unexpectedly. The worker steadies the motion, but the weight edges the lift past its balance point. The platform tilts slightly, straining against its supports as the motion continues downward. Within seconds, the system reveals its limit, mechanical order giving way to instability, reminding how quickly imbalance can turn into uncontrolled motion. Safe loading starts before motion. Each platform load and surface must align within rated limits. Stability isn't found in movement. It's built through preparation, spacing, and verified balance. Stability starts before motion. Secure, block, and check every load before lowering the lift. Control the balance before the platform moves. Don't forget to share what you learned today in the comments. Your insight could save a life. Take care.